Our first question comes to us from PJTV member Malloy O, who asks, can you make me a short list of reasons not to vote for President Obama to share with my liberal friends? No, I can't do that. I can make you a long list. I don't know if there's a short list, because the thing about watching this administration for 4 years is just when I think my outrage meter and my disgust meter is pegged, something new just sort of blows through the membrane, and I have to face a whole nother kind of a where's the bottom on this? I can give you a couple things that come to mind, though. I think you could probably break this down into two different categories, and one of them is the character issue and the other one's the competence issue. So let's start with the competence issue. Barack Obama inherited a tough economy, most of which was caused by liberals by the name of Chris Dobb and Barney Frank, allowing the mortgage industry to be taken over essentially by two government-run entities, and those entities said that that everyone should have a right to own a home, whether they can afford it or not, that it's racist if they don't, and they forced banks to make loans that the banks didn't want to make in the first place. And they basically said, if you lose, if the person can't pay this off, we'll pick it up for you. Now, once you do that, once the government guarantees a bad mortgage, then there's no reason not to write all the bad mortgages you can. Barack Obama voted for all that stuff. And so he kind of came in on the wave of a crisis that he helped create. Republicans were trying to stop this. And if you just go and look, if you Google on, I think it's a 2005 or 2006 hearings for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, you'll see Republicans again and again and again saying, this is going to be insolvent, this is going to be a problem. Nonsense. Nonsense, said the Democrats. So for Barack Obama to claim that this is a giant thing that he had nothing to do with is just not true. He's part of the problem. All right, so if you want to deal with the competence issue, ask yourself, or ask your liberal friend to ask herself, how does she feel about the economy? Does she feel like this is a happy, healthy, growing economy? It's not. Barack Obama promised that if he had $850 billion, then unemployment would fall below 8%. He got his $850 billion, and for the 43 months that followed, unemployment was above 8%. It dropped to 7.9% only because they cooked the last numbers. They omitted an entire state's unemployment numbers from the total. New jobs report was supposed to come out, but by some mystery, the administration has made sure that that new jobs report won't come out until after the election. That'll come up later when we deal with the character issue. So if the president is in fact setting the tone of the business environment, how does your liberal friend feel about this? How does she feel about having $500 million taken out of her pocket? That's money she could have spent somewhere else, or the big government could have spent on education and teachers, and give it to a company like Solyndra that just closed their doors a few months after they got the money. Why did it go to Solyndra? Well, because the people behind Solyndra made large campaign donations to Barack Obama. Goldman Sachs makes enormous campaign donations to Barack Obama. All of Wall Street makes large campaign donations to Barack Obama, so he demonizes Wall Street with his mouth. He takes their money behind the table, and he gives them the big government, big business unholy alliance that has caused this economy to simply lie flat. 1.2%, 1.6% economic growth is not good for Europe. It's appalling for America. So the argument from competence says, listen, I'm not going to give you a stack of facts and figures. Does the country seem happy? Does it seem prosperous? Are people cheerful? Is everybody optimistic? They're not. They're because of the policies of this administration and a Democratic Senate that has not passed a budget in almost 4 years. They have a duty to do it. They just haven't done it. They just don't. So that's the competence issue. The character issue is one that you could just spend days and days and days on. But if you decide to go to the trouble, you can find video evidence of Barack Obama leaning in, talking to the president of the Russian Federation, saying that we will give up our missile defense shield, which has cost us 20 years of research and billions of dollars of development. It's already in place protecting Eastern Europe. The Poles took an enormous risk living under the shadow of the Russians to put that in there. And he, basically, Obama leans forward to the Russian president and says, if you keep calm and don't give me any trouble until after the re-election, I'll be able to be more flexible in dealing with you guys, and we'll give you the missile defense shield. When there was a riot in Benghazi, presumably protesting a movie, which never happened, and he knew it didn't happen, Barack Obama said, we'll give you the First Amendment. In other words, we're going to arrest a person who made a movie, who spoke his mind, used the primary American freedom to say what he wanted to say. We're going to put this guy in jail so that you people in the Middle East who just murdered 4 of our ambassadors will quiet down and not disrupt my re-election chances. And now we find that there were 2 Americans who, on their own initiative and against orders, went to that consulate and defended those people, got a lot of people out. The president didn't send them any help when they called for help again and again and again. That's not the man I want, President of the United States of America, and it shouldn't be the man that any decent person wants. And the final thing I'll say to tell you your friend is simply this: every single president, including Ronald Reagan, who I deeply admire, got everything done that they were going to get done in their first term and in the first half of their first term. Barack Obama had both the Senate and the House for the first half of his first term. The next 4 years are going to be one giant, undying toothache for America unless we get some new leadership in there. So that'd be my long answer for you.